I'm just making sure that I'm planning out my next promotions because I know that there's a lot of you that are competing, so I have to stay in top. So I'm very excited. I know Jeffrey, you're doing amazing, and continue that motivation, and you'll get there. I've been there, so if I can do it, you guys can do it. Um, there's a lot of excitement in the office with a lot of new people. So just encouraging you guys to continue. Right now, it's the moment to really show that we can do it, that we stay motivated, because things can really happen if we really put our minds to it, and put yourself a time frame as to when you guys are going to get it done. Because if you guys don't challenge yourself on a date, trust me, you guys procrastinate and give yourselves a lot more time. So make sure that you guys stay focused, because things will come our way if we continue. So excited. I know this, it's one of the recruits, and she's in our meeting, so I want to congratulate her for joining such a great company. Difference has really demonstrated me a lot of challenges, a lot of ways that we can do to better ourselves, to grow personally, and to really stay focused. So I'm really excited to be part of the team and with our great leaders. Just wanted to give a little bit of updates. Put in your calendars, July 8th will be our train the trainer. So we need more field associates. We're growing, and we need people to really start practicing those presentations so that we can get out there and help each other. We're trying to teach as much people, educate as much people. So let's get ourselves going and get that section done. And for July 11th, we have our first starter. So make sure that our new associates that are just joining the company, that you do your fast start, your 3 field trainings, and become a member so that you can qualify for this training. So if we don't have this, we got to make sure that before that day we get everybody qualified so that we can get this training to them, which will be very beneficial. It was one of the things that I did personally back in January, and it was so amazing that it blew my mind, and I dedicated myself to start and get it going. So I know you guys are going to be very excited once you hear this type of training with Dago. So without further ado, I want to present to you Dago Zuniga, our CEO, the one and only. So we want to thank him because not a lot of companies have CEOs presenting to us, and we have him here available for us in any questions that we have. So Dago, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for, if you notice, I got this flowery shirt, just got back from Mexico. So I did it on purpose. Did it on purpose. So I'm happy to see you guys all, at least the ones I see, folks that are here on the list. And it's just growing. It's just starting to grow. So what's really starting to grow more, and it's really exciting, and the most growth, the most synergy, the most results, the most promotions, the most activity is all happening here in LA or from the Los Angeles organization. And that's what's exciting, is that we're making moves, we're creating our waves, and we're making things happen. And I love that. And I love the competition. You know, it's at the same time, I know Heidi's super competitive and she wants to crush it and kick everyone's butt, but she also will go above and beyond to help her teammates. And I see that with all of you guys. It's okay to compete. It's okay. You know, one day you could be kicking someone's butt, and it's okay if if you're competitive, it's not okay if someone passes you up. You got to keep moving. You got to keep moving.
Yeah,
So today what I want to share with you guys are some of the things that are happening, not just in the company, but I think before we even get started, just in general, that you guys should really stop for a second and pause and think about where your life is at. And I always like to begin with, I don't want to call it food for thought, but food for the soul. But you have to always remind yourself of the things that your blessings and the things that you should show gratitude towards. I think that when you start your mornings, I don't know if you guys have been plugging into the Facebook group, or if you're on Facebook, follow my page that I put together called Create Your Waves. I'm going to first describe to you what that means to me. It really means a ton to me. I remember one of my mentors, he shared with me a story about him and his wife back in the 80s when he got started in the financial industry. And at this time when we're having this conversation, he's coaching me. He was a centimillionaire. He's well worth over 100 million plus. Um, I mean, very wealthy individual. And he said something that stood out to me. I don't know if he was meaning to share with me this lesson or meaning to like give me this slogan. He just happened to say it comfortably when just in conversation. He said, you know, one of the things that's beautiful about the opportunity and being in this industry and the type of system that we run, he said this verbatim. He said, my sweetheart and I have been able to create our waves. And we've been making in the 7 figures and in the multiple 7 figures since the 1980s, since the early 80s. So really put that into perspective. I mean, think about what 7 figures meant in the 80s to making multiples, and he was able to create a legacy for his family. And it all started with making a commitment to be different, meaning to not go with the crowd, to not settle to live a mediocre and average life, to be okay being to disrupt something and do things differently, to be okay when talking to others, learning new skills, but being okay to put in the hard work and the sacrifice necessary. And he also said this that really stood out. It's hobbies right now are gonna have to be put aside. He said, you're going to be off balance a little bit, but it's worth everything. It's worth the sacrifice, because you'll be at a point where once you get everything dialed in, people are going to start to complain that they feel like you have too many hobbies and you spend too much time enjoying family time and life. And that's because the machine is on, and you've created a business where the machine of leadership creation is there. And it's the movement of new people coming into a business and products and services moving simultaneously. And that's the power of our different success system, is that we could take anyone from any background, literally any background. Doesn't matter your educational level. It doesn't matter if you don't speak perfect English. It doesn't matter if you even speak English at all. The beautiful part is we're in the people business, and everybody from any background needs the services. They need an opportunity. And we have that place. We have that place where people can have a real shot to be somebody and to go after it and actually make their dreams a reality. It's not me blowing smoke and mirrors or trying to say, hey, I'm trying to convince you. No, it's the reality of it. And I see it here locally. I see it with you guys, with teammates that are fighting the sacrifice. I seen it even recently you seen that message that Jefferson and Carolina posted. And I remember my first BMW. I still remember, I didn't, believe that it was possible. I didn't think it was going to happen that early on. At least I knew it was possible, but I didn't think it was going to happen that early on in my life. And I just seen it happen. Carolina, you just graduated from college. You guys both just literally got married, and it was kind of similar to. It reminds me of myself, and I remember that. I remember being excited, wanting to get into my car just to go drive, to go to the store, just to go anywhere. The smell of new leather. The car just feels better. It drives better. You feel better. Now I know we're talking about a car and it's a materialistic thing, but it's not. It's what the car represents. It's what it represents, and it's one step closer to getting to your bigger dreams in life. And so it does mean a lot. And I want all of you guys to feel deserving of that, and to say, so for instance, I know I shared this before, at least with some of you guys in conversation. When I see somebody having success and then driving a nice car, I'm like, man, congratulations. That's awesome. Thumbs up. Beautiful. Why? Because nothing's given to you in life. And so everything is earned. And I love it. I love seeing people fighting for it. I love seeing, as much as this sounds kind of weird, I love seeing when people get knocked down, but yet I can't go pick them up. I could be there to coach them and say, hey, this is how you can make a correction. But ultimately, at the end, you have to make the decision to muster up the courage to get back up and give it another go and give it another shot, because you are going to get knocked down. And so it's just a part of it. So what I'm trying to share with you with all this, and what am I coming to really with the start of this message, is that we're in a time where we're very spoiled. I mean, if you look far back in history, the way we live, even the most, I wouldn't say poorest, but the most average income to even okay, maybe getting by type of income, to the level of standards that we live in the US, kings and queens didn't even live at that standard. So you got to think about way back then. They didn't have Netflix. They didn't have Wi-Fi. They didn't have a microwave to get food like that. They didn't have all these things, right? And I know you could probably think, well, it's a whole different time, a whole different comparison. But really, the lifestyle or the level of life that you could live, we live pretty good. We live really, really good. And so the biggest thing that I would say that you have to fear is not being comfortable and not falling into settling for just being average, or not falling in and saying, hey, it's okay. You know, I have a roof over my head and that's okay. No, it's like, go after bigger and better, you know, always push yourself to do bigger and better things. And that's really what it's about. It's the person you have to become to achieve those bigger goals. And trust me, once you get to the big goal that you think you have in your mind, you're going to realize that it's actually pretty small. We could always get better. And I'm already thinking for you guys, Carolina, I can't wait for you guys to now say, okay, now we live at our house here in Marina del Rey and we can see this beautiful beach. Okay, what's next? Okay, well, maybe now we need more square footage. Okay, what's next? Now maybe we could start touching, you know, the different parts of the world and start taking pictures. And as you start to grow a family, start taking pictures in like the 7 wonders of the world. Okay, well, now there's more than 7 wonders. Let's look at the new wonders of the world. You know, hey, let's go taste and take our children and go touch those, you know, the David. Let's go over there and take pictures of the, you know, the things that are historic that people read about. You know, that's, I think that the world and the reason these people created these things is because they wanted to share it, not through a photo, but through actually being in front of it. It's a whole different thing when you get to actually be in front of, you know, these different like Picassos and all these different things, and you're just blown away with the beauty that people have put together. Anyhow, so let me dive into what I really want to talk to you guys about today. I want to talk to you guys about our difference opportunity. You know, on Tuesdays, we talk about our system. And you could go talk about a system, but if you don't show excitement, if you don't show a little bit of passion, a little bit of like belief in your eyes, or if they don't see that little twinkle in your eyes almost where they're like, man, I don't know what exactly he's saying or what the heck is this person smoking, but there must be some truth behind that, and maybe I should give this a shot because I don't want to miss out. You have to be running, and one thing that you're never gonna find is you're not gonna be motivated by someone who's not excited about something. If you're excited about something, that becomes contagious because people want to have that same feeling. They know you're going somewhere, but you got to be moving. The other thing that's a universal truth is that you have never probably experienced this, and you will never find this. You'll never see a dog chasing a parked car. It just doesn't exist. There's no way in the world. So imagine yourself not moving, spending way too much time with somebody. Like if you're moving, you don't have that much time to sit with somebody. Either they get it or they don't. If they don't see it within the first 15 minutes or less, and if they don't get fired up because they don't feel your excitement, and you ask them the right questions, and that's my philosophy, and I've always believed that either you get it or you don't. In fact, this is how direct you almost gotta be. And this is, without offending anybody, it's almost like you have to tell people, and don't take offense to the words I'm gonna use right now, because this is how much I really believe in this. And I would always tell people, like right when I sit with them, and I still to this day will say it in a different way, but this is literally how I started back 2004. The one thing that I knew that I could do is I needed to hurry up and learn how to give a one-on-one presentation. We didn't have flip charts. We didn't have PowerPoints. It was literally a yellow sheet pad and some notes. That was my field training. So I'm gonna go over that today with you guys, and I'm gonna go slow because I want you guys to be able to write down without having to have anything. You could have a napkin and give somebody a presentation with 6 points, you know, of who we are, what we do, the licensing, the training, the way we get compensated, what it takes to get started. You should be able to get someone right now being brand new. It doesn't take you having to be here and be licensed to be able to do that. In fact, within the first week or two, you should be giving your own presentation. That's the expectation. Okay, so I'm just want to make it very, very clear so that you don't ever say, oh, now I'm going to go start getting people involved. Now I'm going to go start creating my team. The people that have the most success are going to be the people that build the biggest team. That's just very simply put. Because check this out, we only all have 24 hours in a day. Is that correct? That's it. The vision is not for you to kill yourself hitting the pavement every single day for years. That's not the vision. The fastest way for you to have freedom is through growing through multiplication, is through sharing our opportunity. That's the truth. Now, can you have success without recruiting? Absolutely. Can you go make 100,000 plus in a month on your own pin? Absolutely. And that's the beautiful part about our model and our compensation structure that we have set up for you guys. You could actually climb to the very top of the company, and where the company will run paper thin just by it's through production. The only way we get paid is production. So either you could get to the production guidelines quickly by helping other people get involved and then using their numbers to help you get up there, or you could do it your way and becoming a great salesperson and do a lot of production with your own pin and climb the ladder and hit those production guidelines as well. So I want to make that crystal clear there. But what I want for all of you guys, I want you guys to have the fastest track to success. And all it does, it involves you making a total commitment of recruiting and building, giving people an opportunity. And the way that I see it, and the way that I feel that you guys should all see it, is that if it's good enough for you, it's good enough for anyone else. Give people an opportunity to at least either say yes or no. And if they say no, awesome. At least now I gave you an opportunity. And that at least I shared with you, so you can never say I didn't share with you. But who do you know that is looking for an opportunity? Who do you know that's a good teacher? Who do you know that loves teaching? Who do you know that's great at sales? Hey, have you purchased something recently? How was that salesperson? Was it a good experience? Hey, maybe you could refer me. What place did you go buy that TV at? Okay, great. Who do you know that's enthusiastic? Who's the most enthusiastic person you know? Who's the most ambitious person you know? Who do you know that maybe has a part-time thing that he does on the side, or he or she that they're just always like up to something where they're trying to sell and produce more and get ahead? Who's money motivated? You know what I mean? So, and that was simply what I just shared with you was the STEAM. Sales. You know, who do you know that's great at sales, or that loves sales, or maybe you purchase something, anything related to sales, right? Who loves to teach? And that could be maybe a pastor, that could be a teacher, that could be a professor, that could be just someone that loves teaching and is just really good at illustrating things. Who do you know that's enthusiastic? E for enthusiastic, A for ambitious, and then M, money motivated, right? So it's very simple. That's the STEAM formula, and that's in our manual. Now, I'm sharing with you these things is because you should always, this is how you can check your mind. We have to first develop a recruiting mentality, a recruiting mindset. So here's the test that I want to give you. Man, I think I get too excited. I'm shaking this whole room. The test that I got to give you is this. When you go driving, how many of you guys have put your hand up in the air if you've ever driven on the 405? You've driven on the 405? Okay. If you're driving on the 405 or any major freeway, when you're looking on both sides of the freeway, what do you see? You could put it in the comments. You see buildings. You see a lot of houses. You see a lot of houses. And now you're seeing the new stadium, right? If you're on the 405 going towards the LAX, you see this humongous stadium. When you go to the downtown, you see the Staples Center, you see the concerts, you see thousands of people, or at least when we were doing all these major events. So when you see this, or if you go to Vegas and you see thousands of people, what's the first thing that comes to your mind when you're driving and you're seeing all these cars? If you're thinking to yourself, oh my God, if I could just sell a little piece of just the zip code. If you're thinking that means you have a salesman mentality. If you're thinking, man, imagine all these cars were coming to my huge event that I'm launching. We're doing a kickoff this weekend, a major event with company recognition, training. We're having a bunch of guests showing up that want to hear about our opportunity. You know what I mean? If you're thinking, imagine if just a certain percentage of these people were on my team, then that's where you should start thinking first. If your first thought goes to creating a sell, then you need to retrain your thinking, because you should always first go for a recruit and you miss with what? A sell. See, I hope you guys are taking note to this. And these are like just the psychology really of the in between the lines of our system. And I just want to expose the truth of it, because the one thing that you should have certain by now is that we provide so much flip and value when it comes to our products and services. That is in like a given. I think that we've become so good at that. We've done a good job of sharing with you that we work with the best companies, and in fact, we put the best companies on this platform to represent, to be able to work with. If we have a choice to select the AAA best company that has the best support, why would we choose anything less? So we choose to have the best companies that are supportive also of the way that we're structured our business to be able to deliver. So the other thing too is that we've gotten very good at two specific niches: retirement planning through products and service like annuities, for instance, that can create guarantee and certainty into people's lives when it comes to retirement and provide that lifetime income. We've also gotten extremely advanced and good on the life solutions, properly protecting a family, and also creating advanced strategies with business owners. I mean, even our 403b niche, like that right there, that's years and years, guys. Do you guys know that? That's years and years compounded up to now with experience and thousands of clients. So if you're brand new, how long is it going to really take you to become an expert of all this? Here's the beautiful thing about our model that is so powerful that we need to make very clear. And I want you to make it very clear where you have confidence about this. You don't have to be the expert of all these things to be able to deliver those type of services. You just have to know the experts. Does that make sense? You have the experts. You have them accessible to you by a simple phone call, or to be able to leverage one of us to be in front of that individual or individuals that make the decision. And that's what is extremely powerful. You know that the industry as a whole says, hey, you know, go get licensed, go get them. Let's go see. It's kind of like sink or swim kind of a deal. Go figure it out. They don't provide the level of support that we provide. That's huge. I'm saying this to you. Why? Because I want you to focus on the number one skill that will set you free. The biggest blessing that I feel so grateful for when it comes to this business, that when my mentor shared with me that this is the number one skill that you could develop, this is the number one mindset that you could develop moving forward, and it's going to take you having to train it, is you have to lead and you have to envision that everybody has this beating light on their chest. Everybody has this sign on their chest that is flashing. You know what that sign is flashing? Tell me I'm somebody. Tell me I'm special. Give me a shot. Tell me I could do it. Push me. Give me a hit, because I need someone to believe in me. Do you guys realize that? How many of you guys feel different to this day because you got involved? Even if difference disappeared and this opportunity did not exist today, you're a better person today because of difference. So why not share this with people and be proud of it? That's why we're talking about this. And you learning this one presentation that I'm going to share with you, and you consciously making a decision that you're going to feel uncomfortable, like, let me just ask them if they're open for an opportunity. You're going to be shocked. You're going to be surprised that even the people that you think that are doing well financially are looking for an opportunity. Even for the people that you feel maybe they're not open, they will surprise you and be open. The scary part is that you're going to have your mind go in circles, because some of the folks that I thought they were going to be good, that were going to be looking for an opportunity, that were tall, good looking, well spoken, they were the biggest wimps. They were the biggest wimps. And the ones that didn't fit the mold, that were quiet, that were introvert, the ones that just didn't seem like they had no business getting into financial industry, were the best people, because they were ready. They were willing and ready to do the uncomfortable, to put in the work. They were willing to pay the price, this point moving forward, that they were going to grow and develop and better themselves. And that's the platform that we would provide for people. Does that make sense? Let's leave this as a discussion for 1 minute before I dive in, because I think it's important to get you guys need to hear from your peers. Like today we had a conversation, and in fact, I'm looking forward to this. We put a video together of some of our thoughts and some of the experiences that are happening in the company, and some of the, and who, you know, Julian participated, Carolina participated, because I've seen just in them alone, I've seen the tremendous growth in a very short period of time. But it wasn't just like overnight. This is in the makings. That, you know, Julian 2 years ago to today, you know, is a whole different person. I think he's unleashed the beast within him. I've seen Carolina coming in, you know, first coming out of college, sitting down, I just want to have a job and this is where I want to climb. And, you know, now she's this entrepreneur and she's on fire with her and her husband. Now she's freaking buying dream cars. And now she's like, man, I want bigger and better. Now I'm over here and now I'm driving to my parents' house and you don't have to say nothing. This is the beautiful part. You see, starts to see the transformation in people. But you know what it was? It wasn't us saying, hey, Julian, what if I would have just sold you a policy? Can you imagine? Or Carolina would have said, hey, you know what? Let's just keep you as a person to the company. This is, you know, we don't involve anybody else until you have to either not be with us and just be a 1099 rep. Like, you know what I mean? Like, no, I couldn't even help myself. I saw so much potential in Carolina that I was like, there's just no way in the world. Like, hey, what do you think about doing this part-time? Like, it's just, how could I not share that? You know what I mean? The only thing I did tell Carolina is like, you're so flipping good at what you do. You're going to have to train a replacement because eventually I know you're going to start flying. You guys are both going to be on the plane flying, killing it, crushing it, building a big team that, you know, but I know that you've laid the groundwork enough to be able to bring in, and we're going to have more pieces come in. And it's awesome to see that. I see also Juan Carlos. I mean, this guy has been like just consistent, you know, doesn't like, he's never one to say, hey, look at me, this is what I'm doing. No, he's just freaking boom, just every day, just hitting it. One of the hardest working people, you know, but lead him by example. And even I saw the switch even in this year saying like, you know what, I'm not even going to talk about it, but I'm going to turn the switch on to focus on building, and boom. And I'm going to, and all of a sudden now you got the Gabbies that are emerging from here. And he's got some other things that are happening. You also got, even with your guys' organization, Carolina, where you also have, you know, Jonathan. I know you know, Jefferson's now, you know, imagine being in business with your brothers. Why wouldn't you be in business with your friends and family? That's the other uniqueness about that, what we do. Did you know in other companies that if two people are married, they usually have them, they can't work together? There's like certain, I forgot what that's called, but I know that Julian could probably, he knows the insights on that because he's been in management for such a long time in his past life. But anyways, let me leave it open for a second. Share some thoughts. I want to get you guys kind of participating with this in regards to, what do you think would have happened, Heidi, if you would have just kept plugging in at your work? You know, because I see you fired up coming in here, just walking with swagger. Like, you're like, man, standing tall. Like, man, you look nice. Of course I look nice. I'm okay, I'm sorry. Yeah, I'll move out of the way. Come on through. I love the confidence, you know, and that's contagious. It's awesome. Of course you should be confident. So share some thoughts, guys.
I just love the confidence that we get within difference, and now starting with the field, starting from low. I wanted to start the compensations to see how it was structured and if it was something fit to me. And now the more that I do it and the more that I get promoted, it just fires me up. And now I'm working with bigger clients, and, you know, having that thought like, okay, let me work with the bigger picture here, and like that I can get even more confidence that I can go out and talk. So it just gives you that opportunity, you know, to start working with different kind of people in different positions. So it's great, and you never stop learning. So that's what I love, because sometimes in the corporate world you hit your top and people don't let you move anymore. So you become that little person that sometimes you feel that you're in a cage because you know so much and they're not giving you the opportunity to grow or learn something different. So here we have the opportunity. So I'm taking fully advantage of it.
That's awesome. How about you, Carolina? I mean, Carolina, kind of share with you and Jefferson, you know, what have you guys seen, even the difference in your guys' relationship as a power couple now in the hunt, moving together? How would it have been if we never even shared this opportunity?
I know. I can't even imagine. I was just telling Heidi about with her other job. I was like, I can't even see you going back to it. Like, she is such a different person, and I feel the same way. I mean, I don't mean to talk about it again, but you know, you saw that me and Jefferson got the car. I was telling Heidi, it's from here and up. There's no way, you know, going back to a Corolla, like Heidi said. But it's just everything that difference has allowed us. It has pushed our strengths and it has strengthened our weaknesses, and
Mm.
that's very unique and that's very rare. And so for those that are not ready, for those that say no or not willing to listen, they're not ready for it. I keep telling, I repeat it to myself, and I tell Jefferson, no means not yet. And I understand it. I've
That's
seen
true.
it. I've been in a position where I would see difference, and I wasn't very involved, or I didn't give it my 100% because it was not, I wasn't ready. But now I'm ready, and I see Jefferson is ready as well. So yeah, I'm very grateful to be here. Very excited too.
That's awesome.
Mhm.
Anybody else here? Maybe Julian, maybe you could share a little bit about what you've been experiencing, because you've been involved literally probably in most of these folks, like really helping them and guiding them. So what have you seen as far as transformation wise, or how, number one, how would you have felt if I would have just sold you a policy, Julian?
Oh man, I don't know. I'm so grateful that you didn't. Um, one of the things that Carolina mentioned is that you have to be ready for it. And, sometimes it's all about timing, but you also have to make a decision that you want to be better. You have to have faith. And sometimes, don't let short-term results dictate, what is it that you have learned. And, one of the things that I like is that action cures everything. And it, for those people that are ready, you're gonna start seeing the transformation. It doesn't have to take a year or two. It can take a week or two. And I'm like so excited. Especially here. We have a lot of examples of success. And there's different levels. But even for like the new person who is basically hearing this call, you know, your perspective, your mindset, everything is gonna start changing. We're gonna start feeding so much positive stuff in you, and once you decide to take action and get out of the bench and start playing, you're gonna realize how much more you have, how much more power, how much more everything that you have, and you just never had the opportunity to. You had just never given yourself the opportunity to develop, and I'm really excited. I'm like we have great people, great energy, and I just see everything and all of the movement and just the transformation in some, the confidence in others, stepping up and not being scared. One of the things that I wanted to share, for you guys, and this is not even my story because I won't even say my story, but this is Heidi's story, so I'll talk about Heidi. She came in and she set the 7-day record. Then Gabby comes in and she does it on 5. And I hear some rumors that Gabby, she has a sister and she's itching to basically break that 5. So we'll see, if big sister can beat little sister. But regardless, you know, one of the main things that Heidi, she paid her dues. She learned a lot. She already passed her exam. So we're very excited about that. But guess what? Talk about somebody with a newly license and going up to an owner of over 100 employees and saying like, okay, help me. Let's get things done. I know you, you know me, I am new, and you're gonna help me, and I'm gonna help you. So let's get things done. She started basically telling him everything about almost how to run your business. But you need insurance, you need this, you need a key employee, group insurance, whatever it is, and I'm here to help you. And guess what the guy said? I really want to help you, Heidi. I love your enthusiasm. I love who you are as a person. Let's work something out. Okay? And this is a brand new person. Just passed her license on Thursday. What was it? On Thursday last week, huh? So just on Thursday. And here she is talking to people that are multimillionaires. Okay? So talk about personal development and having the guts, the courage, and the confidence to talk to people like that. So if that's not personal development, I don't know what else is. So anyways, everybody has that opportunity. And every time, every week, we always have somebody new that we're talking about. So, and that is all based on action. So I'm really, really happy. And it's those people that you hang around the most, that's how you basically going to be getting those results. And I'm a proven fact of that. So anyways, that was my points.
Also, want to appreciate you sharing. Appreciate you sharing. I mean, just for the sake of time, I'm going to go ahead and dive in. I know that some of you guys are probably itching to want to say something, but I wanted to go ahead and dive into the presentation because I want you guys to be able to take at least something from this presentation beyond us maybe trying to motivate you or inspire you through people's examples of success. I really want you to feel like, okay, I could take this and I'm just going to take action and start to implement it. So what I want to cover with you guys is the presentation that literally, I would say for, gosh, the better like half of my career was completely based on. And actually not even better half, my whole entire career, even with the PowerPoint was designed based off of this, but there's nothing like you presenting on a notepad or if it's on a board, but you'll be able to share with something, an idea. And the beautiful thing about this is that if you memorize it and you're excited about sharing it, people don't know that you haven't memorized. They just see that you're presenting something and you're sharing concepts with people and you're sharing an opportunity that you're excited about, and people gravitate towards that because all of a sudden, unpsychologically, you're putting yourself in a position of authority when you're able to write ideas on paper. Does that make sense? If you present on a PowerPoint, you could still get the message across, but there's just something powerful about you being able to illustrate with your own pen on a pad, because that takes you to a whole nother level of learning, because you can't just wing it and point at something. Does that make sense? So you have to put a little bit more effort to actually learn it. But once you learn this, it doesn't matter what the PowerPoint is because you're already sharing the story, because you're already more invested into learning and memorizing this presentation. And you're always ready because it doesn't matter where you're at. It doesn't matter if you have a book or presentation or anything. You got a napkin. That's what's literally called a napkin presentation. And you could share with them our company story, and you could actually get someone involved and get them started. So the outcome of this is to be able to share our story and also push people along to take action to move forward to become a new business partner with you or an associate with you in business. That's the goal. And if you don't get that result, then what's the next thing? You set up at least another appointment to get together with them, or you do it right there. And then if you're ready, to gather a fact finder to at least be able to help them on the services. You don't give up still. Here's the other thing. If they chose and they said, well, you know what? I'm just not open right now for an opportunity. Like Carolina said, the timing is just not now, but it's in your mind as a recruiter is if it's not now, it's going to be later. And the other approach that I would take, and this is the approach that I've always taken, well, look, let me at least first walk you through and share with you our services experience. Let me gather your information, share with you the strategies that we could create for you and your family, because I know that you're the type of person that probably wants to see a little bit more detail so that you could have all the information at hand and you could then make a decision moving forward. So I would only take that track because I'm still not giving up on the recruiting. You guys catch that? Did you guys catch it? I'm not giving up on the recruiting. I'm trying to go through the back door now because I need them to have a great experience, because maybe they're a little bit more analytical, maybe they're a little too scared. But for the most part, most people, either they're looking for an opportunity or they're not. And even if they weren't, you just woke them up and like, oh my gosh, like I want to be a part of that. If it's somebody who's ambitious, that wants more in life, that is pushing themselves to do better, even at their corporate job or their career, when you present an opportunity, guess what happens? It will light something up in them and it'll motivate them. It will motivate them because they're going to feed off of your excitement, your enthusiasm. And so your enthusiasm is going to create that spark. For the first ladder of all my presentations, and this was the funniest thing that was a joke when I first got started, I had all the numbers wrong. I added up everything wrong, but I was so fired up and I was recruiting people until one person finally said, hey, those numbers ain't adding up. And I looked at it, I said, oh yeah, whoops. I've been giving the presentation for a while and I've been adding this all up wrong. But either way, people are getting started. So people are not buying the little details. They're feeding off of your excitement and they're seeing like, man, if this person could do it, I could do it too. You see that? So let's go ahead and dive in. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen, and I'm going to do my best to use this whiteboard to be able to illustrate this as best as possible for you guys. I'm going to minimize this. And then Julian, if people ask questions, if maybe you could, stop me if there's a question, because I'm going to be focusing on this white screen here as I'm going through this. So you guys can see the white screen, correct? All right, so let's go ahead and do this. So the first thing I'm going to do is write some notes up here, because number one thing that you should get very, very good at as I'm going over the napkin presentation. This is really what I'm going to cover. All you need literally is a napkin, but the goal is to recruit an individual onto your team. Okay, that's the goal. The second one, the I guess you would call it the second option, is miss with a sell. And even if you're selling on setting up an appointment, for instance, to gather a fact finder, because then from that point, then you can set up the next appointment to be able to share with them the solutions, or you make a sell on the services. Once you get really proficient and you're good at this, it's obviously going to take a little bit more time, but the whole goal is this right here, is you're going to get a recruit. That's the whole outcome. Do you need any licenses for this? Absolutely not at all. So no license required. So when can you do this? Day one. Day one, you could totally do this. So let me go ahead and I'm going to slide this a little bit. Hope you guys are writing this down as I'm going through this, because you're going to want to refer back to this. Now, I could give you these notes, but it's not the same learning when you're writing them down. You actually absorb more as you're taking notes as I'm going through this with you. Now, the other thing that I want to share with you that you need to be good at, that this is a must, is your 2-minute story. Now, I'm going to pause there for a minute. What is your 2-minute story? I'm going to go ahead and put the screen up, and I'm going to go ahead and stop sharing for a second because I want you guys to see me. I think it's very important that you guys see me up close. Your 2-minute story, guys, is that. It's your story. It's who you are, why you're doing this, why you're excited about this, and how you're giving this a shot. In other words, your story has to encourage that other individual, because you're sharing and you're being vulnerable as to what your motivation is and what you see as to why you're getting involved. Because the curiosity is this: human nature is that people are curious. And you know what people are curious about is like, why are you doing this? What motivated you to want to do this? What does it mean to you in your life? Because you know what they're registering in their mind? Is this something that I see myself doing? That's what they're registering. Is this something that I could possibly do as well? That's what they're thinking. And so if you try to be too fancy and you're trying to sell products and you're trying to sell technical things, guess what? It's going to shut them off. They're going to be thinking, I don't know if I could do this. Who the heck's going to listen to me about this? That's a lot. It's going to intimidate them. Does that make sense? So you have to share with them more on the way you feel and what's got you excited about this. So here's my, like for instance, my 2-minute story, and this is my personal story, is, you know, I grew up in a small little town. All I ever wanted in my life was to be able to be that rock for my family. And I was sold on this vision of a higher education, which I feel I'm a huge advocate for education. I feel that it changed my life. It put me in a position where I was able to land an engineering career after going to engineering. You know, it definitely put me at a different level when it comes to getting to a next step in my family, you know, through all the sacrifices my parents did. But at the end of it, what I learned was that I still was not in control. I didn't earn the income that I envisioned that I could possibly ever earn. And you know what that ever meant? I didn't have a specific number. You know what it really meant? Is that I wasn't financially sound. I wasn't free. I was just in the rat race. I was just another number at a corporate job. I was just another number that just got the same raise, that little whopping raise, at the same slacker next to me that wasn't putting the effort in. You know, so what do? I don't know any better. I figured, okay, if I go further my education, go get a master's, I'll for sure get a raise, and I'll for sure maybe able to climb that corporate ladder. But that corporate ladder, guess what it was leading up to? It was leading up to a wall, to the very top of something that I didn't want to go up on. Think about it. In the corporate setting, for most corporations, they already have managers that have been working there for 20 plus years that took them that long to climb. Either someone had to die, or they were going to pick someone who was the brown noser, or someone that was the in on the friend. You know what I mean? That's the corporate world, the politics. And unfortunately, people think, no, I'm different, I'm going to climb up there. But then guess what happens? Reality starts to sink in that everyone's freaking like crabs pulling each other, fighting each other at the end to get there. If you ask your boss, hey, let me How do I get your position? Guess what they're gonna do? Like, whoa, you're a threat now. That's the corporate setting. But was the big thing that stood out to me the most, that was meaningful to me, that was the most important thing, was family. Being able to simply write a simple check to my mom and dad and say, Mom, Dad, let me send you a nice vacation. Let me pay for your mortgage. I couldn't do those things. And then I started thinking about other things. What about when I get married? Am I gonna have roommates? You know, am I gonna, like, it was just all these things that I'm sure a lot of people think about. And it wasn't until I got introduced to an opportunity to have a twin career in the financial industry that it completely changed my life. And I was scared, you know, and see, I'm gonna start sharing these things. Why? Because you know what they're thinking? They're scared, they're nervous, they're thinking about something new. So your story has to be truthful about you, but it also has to be encouraging to overcome people's concerns and objections before they even bring them up, because they're thinking them. You see that? So I think this could be a training on its own, just us like fine tuning, like what makes the right formula. And the right formula, to be honest with you, is going to come with practice for you. The right formula for you is going to be where it makes you feel the emotion about that true feeling that of why you got started. It also, they have to feel the excitement about, you know, why you're moving forward and the vision and how your vision is getting stretched, how you're around people that are champions, that are winners, that are pushing you. You're in an environment of success where it's not normal, and it's not like that in the real world of the corporate. And we've created this awesome environment where we encourage you to become better. We challenge you. We hold you accountable. We get in the trenches with you. We cheer with you. Does that make sense? So that right there is, I found a place, literally, and this is my truth. I found a place where I could give it my all, and there was no glass ceiling, where it didn't matter my background, and I could go make a true difference in people's lives, and I could share it with other people and bring friends and family and build other friends and bring people along with me, and we could all get there together. Does that make sense? There's no limits. There's really no limits, and the only limits that were ever set was on the individual themselves, and that's why I do this. And that's why I you know, and I'll be frank with you, even before I get into the details, I'm already presenting to you right now. Even if before I get into the details, the reason why I'm sitting with you and the reason why I wanted to share this with you is because I see these gifts in you. Like Heidi, I see that, you know, I know your background. Like if I'm trying to recruit Heidi, man, you're a freaking badass, Heidi. Like seriously, and I mean that sincerely. I'm not just trying to pitch this to you, all of you. Like think about it. Like you're the way, when I've gotten to know you, the way that you're a freaking go-getter, you're mentally tough, you're willing to do whatever it takes, you're the freaking hero to your daughters. You built your legacy. Even right now, if difference wasn't here, like you're damn, like that's what you've done to this point. That is powerful. And what I see that you could bring that here, oh my God, the way that I know how to get results, or, you know, or even if I say, hey, I'm very new at this, but I know that you and I working together, man, you can get yourself to a whole other level, because I see other people having success, and you have probably, if not what it takes, if not more than what I've seen some of these people. So I want to partner up with you. I think that you and I, like running together, we could freaking be unstoppable. We could crush this. I know that you would. So let me go ahead and dive into details, because my goal is that by the end of this, that we're doing something together and we're running together. I may not know all the details yet, as far as I'm not the expert, but I know that once you get involved and you get around these people and you start getting to see this, there's so much value, and you could totally crush this. You see that, guys? How it's different versus like, this is when normally a weak person does, someone that's brand new, that has no idea that recruiting is about pulling out the blessings in people and sharing those gifts and lifting people and encouraging them to want to also move forward, because you see that in them. Inside, you know what people are thinking? Like, oh, wow, you see that in me? Because sometimes we don't see what other people see in us. Actually, for the most part, we don't. And so with that being said, you know what's kind of going through that person's mind as I'm sharing the details now? Maybe that person's right. And they're listening a little bit more. They're viewing this a little bit more. And that's what encourages people. And even at the end of all that, even if they're motivated, guess what people need ultimately at the very end? A little hit to move forward. A little hit to move forward. Why? Because there's never no perfect time. There's never a convenient time to get involved with a great opportunity like ours. We could go down a whole long list right now. There's a pandemic. People are scared that maybe at their day jobs, they might be uncertain to how things might look. That's more of a reason why they should get moved forward. But most people will go the other way. They'll try to go into like this I guess, self-survival mode, but that's the wrong approach, because they should be moving forward into trying to better themselves and grow and look for a plan B, etc. There's going to be a whole long list of excuses, but you have to be that voice. No, let's choose to get on this path. You see that? People will get recruited without you even saying anything and say, okay, what do I do? How do I join? They'll say that before you even get into writing anything. Have you guys yet experienced something like that? Probably the more senior people. You'll be surprised. Right now, when you're new, if you just take that approach of saying, I want to partner up with you, this is what I see in you, you're going to get people involved with you like that. Why? Because right now they feel that fire in you. They feel that excitement. They see something loony and crazy about you that's different, because you're not the same. You're like, it's pretty powerful how contagious that energy is. So take advantage of that and keep that momentum, keep it flowing. But now that I've shared with you, I'm going to go back to the notes. I'm going to share with you the specifics of the presentation, the outline, your 2-minute story. You guys got that, correct? You guys can see how the 2-minute story is everything. I spent a lot of time on it because of that reason, because people are buying you. That's where that whole saying, people are buying you. They're buying your enthusiasm, your excitement. Now, the next thing here is I'm going to share with you the outline. Number 1, besides the 2-minute story, is who we are and what we do. Whoops. Whoa. What we do. Number 2, what do you guys think number 2 is? Our training. What type of training we have. So now we're selling them our training, our system, how Tuesdays we train on our system. We'll teach you how to, our referral lead system, which anybody can learn from any background. It's very simple. We break it down into bite-sized pieces. We literally would take you by the hand and teach you. We have our classroom training, right? Classroom. We also have our online training, which a lot of people have moved to online. So literally it's at the convenience of your own home or wherever you're at in the world. It doesn't matter. So there's no excuses whatsoever. You can do this. We even have a back office with a lot of recorded trainings, with tools, with resources. Literally there's so much out there that we actually have, whoopsie, that we could help you with. But the number 1 is our hands-on, what we call field training experience. Our training program that we have for that. You literally will have a senior successful person that's going to share with you the finer points of our business, hands-on, that will get in the trenches with you, that will do appointments with you. You also will inherit, by being a part of our organization, you're also going to get all our resources, our tools. We have over 100+ years of experience with just our senior team alone, but we also have experts when it comes to income solutions, to tax advantage strategies, to life strategies. I mean, I could go on and on. There's so many different solutions that you're going to be plugged into this resource of experts. So do you have to be the expert? No, you just have to know who the experts are. You see that? Now, I kind of jumped ahead into that, but I'm going to share with you now another thing. Number 3. What do you think number 3 is? They're thinking, well, how the heck can I do this? We're going to talk about licensing. By the way, I'm going to give you a little disclosure when it comes to licensing. We don't sponsor your licensing. Why? Because everyone that gets involved with us is a 1099, is an independent contractor. Right? Is independent contractor. So if you decide, hey, difference is not for me, you could take your licenses with you. We don't hold your licenses hostage. You own your license. So every state has their requirements. California has their specific, where you take an online course. It's only about $80. Then you pay for the exam, you pay for some fingerprints. Well, approximately it's going to cost you about $500. You don't have to do it all at once. You do it in stages. So first you get registered for the online course, then you pay for the test, then you get your fingerprints when you pass it at the test center, etc. So I'll give you the specifics. And in fact, we have the specifics in our back office. We even have someone designated for you that's going to be your coordinator when it comes to training, making sure you're on track, going through the checklist. We literally have a checklist on what you need to do from one point to the next point so you can grow. It's all built on building blocks. You guys see that? Now, you're probably wondering, how in the world do we get our clients? Because that's probably something that you should be thinking if you haven't thought about already. So how do we get our clients? Let me talk to you about that. We have what we call our different success system. Literally, we're going to teach you how to fish. And what I mean by how to fish and why do we believe in this type of strategy or philosophy, it's I would rather teach you how to fish so that you could eat for the rest of your life. In fact, the system that I personally learned, my mentor taught me, and was it work that I had to put into it? Did I have to roll on my sleeves? Absolutely. Did I make mistakes along the way? Yes, but I had coaches and people teaching me along the way, just the way you're going to have as well. So we're going to teach you how to fish, because the one thing that you'll never ever have to worry about when you learn our system is you're never going to have the lack of having clients. But if you go in with the mentality of I'm going to get licensed and then just give me, no one's going to give you anything. That doesn't work like that in any business. So, but we'll teach you our system. It's a referral, literally, it's a referral lead system. That's just one of them. So we have multiple systems. This one's a proven system. It's economy proof. It's literally bulletproof. It could take anyone from any background. I could teach it for you as long as you're willing to learn this system. And you're going to hear the word system a lot because we are, we believe that systems will save you from yourself. Everything's systematic. It's literally 6 steps. Very simple 6-step system that we follow. We also have, once you become a senior person, and I say this after you've gained experience, we also have a system where we could teach you how to get involved in our schools. If it's something you want to do and you want to help people with their retirement accounts that are teachers or even state employees, we could actually teach you that. The next thing that I want to go over to you, because I'm sure you're excited to hear this, is our compensation. I strongly believe, hands down, number one, we're in a very lucrative, can't even spell, lucrative industry. So can you make a ton of money in our business? Absolutely, we're in the money business, hands down. I mean, our model is designed literally in a way where if you want to go out there and produce with your own pen and make 100,000 to potentially even a 7-figure income just with your own pen, if you become good enough and you become a great salesperson, you have systems and models to how to referrals and how to get leads. I mean, if you could actually crush it and you could climb the top ladder of our company where the company is running paper thin by just being a producer. But what I see for you is I see something much bigger. I see you being able to also offer opportunities to be able to be a broker in our company and leverage and develop other leaders so that now, as you step out of your system, you have other leaders running your company, other systems running your business. That's where you can have the ultimate leverage. But I'm not going to get into those specifics, but I'm going to share with you the different ways we get compensated. Because literally, there's 3 types of people that get involved in our business. The first one is someone who is a referral partner. Now, the referral partner is someone that says, you know what, I love what your company stands for. I love your vision, the mission of what you guys do to help families become financially free, how you empower people with options, you create strategies for free because we don't charge them. And you're able to deliver a product and service from some of the most reputable, best companies in the entire planet. And yet you're bringing it to everyday people. I love the fact that you could also help affluent people. I mean, I could go on and on, right? So people love what we do. They're also our clients. So let's just say you're this person. You're like, you know what? I'm a client. I love it. You know what? I'll get licensed and I'll refer you people. So you do have to be licensed in order to get legally compensated. Now, I'm going to give you one little example of one of our flagship products. We have 2 main flagship products, even though we do multiple types. I mean, we do so many different strategies and different products, but I'm going to give you just one to keep it simple because I don't want to go over the top on this. I don't need to be blowing smoke and mirrors on you. If you help out, say, an individual in an IUL product, which is a life strategy with a cash value accumulation inside of this strategy, our average client, and this is on a very low average, will save about $250 per month in one of these products. When you multiply it times 12 months, because they're doing this, you know, long-term, these are long-term programs, and they know this, it's got to be obviously suitable. Then this gives what's called a commissionable target premium of approximately $3,000, not to you directly, but that's generated to the company. The insurance company is generated also to us as a general agency. So what does that mean? Let's just say that you referred it over to one of our agents. They go do the work. They receive the client they never would have had otherwise if it wasn't for you. You guys split everything 50-50. So $1,500 that goes into calculating your commissions, your upfront commissions, and then $1,500 is used to calculate for you. So this person gets paid whatever contract they're at. And let's just say, just for simplicity's sake, you're at a 50% contract. Well, guess what? You're going to make $750, which is not too bad by referring over a client. Now, you tell me right now, where can you go refer somebody to say, hey, look, I'm going to send somebody over to this company. I want you to go sit with them because they're great. They could actually help you with one of these strategies. I'm personally a client. This is what I'm doing. So where else can you go do that, right? Let me go ahead and close this up. I want to scroll this down. I'm having a little bit of issues here for a second. Here it is. I'm going to have to take this down. There it goes. Now, if you actually did this, you know, you could do one client, you could do 10 clients, you could do 20 clients. It's really up to you. I'm just going to paint the picture with just 4 potential clients, right? Very simple. So let me get my calculator because, and I even bring it out. I'll do it on my phone. I'm doing it there because I don't want them to think that I have this. I just, okay, I'm going to take 750 times 4. That is $3,000. What would an extra $3,000 a month mean to you and your family if you're able to do this? You know, and you could, there's no quotas. I mean, this is pretty powerful, right? Would you agree? I mean, I was extremely fired up if I could just make an extra 500 bucks. So if you refer one person, yeah, that's pretty awesome. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to share with you the other position. This is our producer's position. The reason I call it producer is because there's going to eventually come a time where you're going to be like, you know what, Doug, will move out of the way. I could take this application. It's pretty simple. You know, I've already been talking to people. So now in this point, you go out and do that yourself. You take 3,000 and you multiply it times 4. That's 12,000 points. Now, if you're at a 50% contract, that's what? $6,000. Whoops. Which is not too shabby, right? You multiply $6,000 times 12. How much is that? If you did that every month, you just helped out 4 families. That was your focus. What is that? That 72,000? Is it? Let me see. I'm gonna do it on the calculator just to not make no mistakes. That's $72,000. Which, by the way, we're not even talking about promotions. If you could do this consecutively, our promotional guidelines are so simple. We've had them clearly defined. You could actually make more money than this, but let's just stick with this, just to keep it simple. What if you made an extra $72,000 with that, no threat ever leaving your job? How would you like that? Pretty awesome, right? Even for all of you guys here, like literally, it's powerful. But I'm going to share with you another thing. You being involved, you're getting paid as a 1099. That puts you in a category where you have a whole list of different write-offs now as a business owner. As an employee, as a W-2, you don't have that ability. So in fact, you have an ability to be able to write off your car. You have an ability to be able to write off your gas mileage, your phone. Like you have certain deductions. Obviously, you have a good accountant or CPA that can help you with that. And we could refer you. We could help you with some of these things. But that's pretty strong. Now, so far, so good. But let me share with you where I see you. This is the broker's position. This is the position that I see you along the way, even if you didn't choose to want to be on this path. And I see this happen. There's going to be people that ask you, well, how did you get involved? How can I do this too as well? So let's just say you build this humongous team of 4 people. It's huge, like Trump says, huge team. Huge. You take these 4, if they all did the same thing and they were part-time doing this, right? You multiply it times 4, that is what? 48,000? On average, I'm going to approximate this. You're going to get what's called a supervisory override. Whoops, supervisory override, which is super sexy. You multiply that times 20%. What is that going to be? Let's see, 48,000 times approximately 20%. That's $9,600. Plus what you personally did with your own pen. So let's just say, just to keep it simple, even though at the broker's contract, you'd be higher than this. Let's just put the $6,000, but I know it's more. I'm rounding it down. This is $15,600 in a month. Now, if you did that 12 months consecutively, what is that? Let me go ahead and move this down because I want you guys to see this. If you did that 12 months consecutively, let's go 15,600 times 12. That is $172,000. In fact, actually, you're gonna make more than that. You'd be making over $200,000 plus because you'll be at a higher contract. especially with what you did with your own personal pen. Now, you tell me right now, can you go to your company and tell your boss if there's any way that you could learn, you know, at working at your company, maybe do some extra overtime to make an extra $6,000 a month? Like, heck, like, show me how to do that. Even if you told your boss, is there a way I can make an extra $750 here at this place, working maybe 10, 15 hours extra a week? They're gonna be like, what the heck are you smoking? What are you talking about? But here, I'm just letting you know, like I'm telling you guys, like the thing that's powerful about this is that you could actually learn how to do this on a part-time basis. But it's really up to you what type of commitment you want to put into this. So let me ask you a question, and this is the critical part. Let me ask you a question. Where do you see yourself the most? And then you pause and wait. Where do you see yourself the most? Why do I even say that? Because they're going to point, I see myself right here. Guess what they just told you? I want to do this. So if they told you where they see themselves and you don't get the AMA, then you messed up somewhere right there. When the minute they say, I see myself doing this, they told you, I want to do this. You just kind of connected into their back of their mind. They said out loud, I want to do this. You guys get that? So now what's the next thing? So let me just share with you though. Now, like I shared, I go back to this, I point at this, like I shared with you, here's how our training works. Like number one is we have our classroom trainings. Like I want to get you plugged in. So the next step is also getting licensing, but that's not the first step. The first step that I want to do, just so I could get you started, so I could get you plugged in into our trainings, and I want to introduce you to some of our leadership, is that there's a membership agreement, we call it an associate membership agreement that we don't sponsor also. Now, what does that mean? It's embarrassing to say, but it's only $100, I think maybe only $99. This registers you into having access to all our training and resources. It will also in the future, when you do get licensed, will help the company in the overhead that it's going to be required to get you licensed and appointed. Now, why in the world do we make people pay for this? Is because we work with so many independent contractors and we don't know who's committed from who's just kind of checking us out. So there's just no way in the world that we can invest all this money and energy into somebody when they can't even take this first step to pay for their own ticket or pull their own little red wagon. Does that make sense? So it's not that we don't make money out of this. In fact, we're investing, like literally think about this for a second. Let me just share with you. You're coming into a company that has spent hundreds of thousands of dollars, literally, with back office support. You have all this infrastructure. You could come into the office here locally in Torrance and not have to pay any overhead for a free facility. You could come do your appointments. I mean, the list is so long, but all you did was pay $100 and it gives you access to all of this stuff. You know how much it takes to start a company? Like, so that's why I'm embarrassed to say that, but we want people to, show a little commitment. So let's go ahead and do that. Let's go ahead and fill out your membership. We could actually do it right now digitally. Actually, I could even do it on my phone with you. So that way, as soon as we get you in, it takes 24 to 48 hours to get you approved. So let me go ahead and put that. It takes 24 to 48 hours to get you approved. I don't make the final decision. It's still going to get reviewed. You got to put three references. Once we get you approved, boom. Like my goal is that I could set you up to do an appointment so that we could get you your kit. We call it your startup kit. And the startup kit, literally, it will be step-by-step, laying the foundation so we can help get your business off the ground. And that's it. So let's go ahead and how do you spell your last name? And you start moving forward. You know why I'm already putting my head down? That's the way I did before, old school paper. But let's go ahead. How do you spell your last name? I'm looking at the screen. I'm not looking at them. I'm looking at the screen and I'm moving my fingers like I'm already ready to type. Like, how do you spell it? Why? Because I'm triggering them to move forward. I'm kicking them to move forward. Why? Because they told me already. If they stop, but wait. I'm like, wait a minute. You just told me a minute ago, you see yourself there. So what is the part that you need help understanding and which part? This is what I see in you. I was the exact same way as you feel right now. I was a little nervous, but you know what? At least I mustered up the courage to give it a go. So let's do this. Trust me on this. You see that? Now they're buying you on that. Like, let's move forward. Is it? And at the end of the day, if they have all these excuses, okay, level with me. Just between you and I, level with me. Is it the money? You don't have the money right now? What is it? Is it because you can make all this money part-time? Is it because you could actually grow to become achieve the goals that you told me about that you want to achieve? What is it? Because typically what happens, it's usually the money. And it's okay if you get paid next week, cool. We'll submit next week, but I want to get your commitment first. Let's go ahead and fill this out. So at least we could get the ball rolling. Is that fair? Okay, cool. Let's go. You see that? So I skipped ahead one step over here, guys. And I did it on purpose only because I wanted to get into the meat and potatoes of really the recruiting presentation. The first part that I missed, that I skipped over, is this one. And I'm going to go ahead. Let me look at the time. Are you guys okay for 5 minutes? 5 minutes? Okay, cool. This right here, the who we are, the first thing that I shared, the 2-minute story, was the critical part when you start. The other parts that I said back here are in your mind, the outcome. What's your goal? Your goal is, I want to recruit this person. I want to share with them the opportunity. The second outcome in my mind that I'm putting is I'm going to get at least miss by gathering a fact finder to make a sell. That's in my mind. So these are in my mind. Number 3 of the psychology part is like, I'm going to do the best job that I could to share my story, because I want to help influence them to that, so they can feel that they can actually do this too. And I want to empower them and let them know, here's the gifts that I see in you. You see that? So now who we are and what we do is like, well, they probably want to know, what the heck am I going to be doing, right? So I'm going to go ahead and move to that part. Actually, in the last part that I missed over here, which is, because this was 5, 1 second, hold on. Yep, that's 5. Let me show you what 6 is, because it's a 6-step part. And then I'll show you that other part. 6 is time commitment. Can you commit to Tuesdays or trainings and Saturdays? Which ones can you commit to? Like, what about your field training? How's your schedule look? So I'm already getting a time commitment, okay? So what it's gonna take is, let's go ahead and get this started. Because the reason why we go over time commitment at this point is because, you know what people give you excuses with? They're gonna give you excuses about time. That's probably one of the #1 excuses. Okay, well, walk me through your schedule. Okay, so you work Monday through Friday. Okay, great. What time do you work? Oh, you work from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Okay, great. Oh, and so, by the way, I also do softball on Wednesdays. Okay, great. So it looks to me like you have Monday through Tuesdays in the evenings. You also have Thursdays, and you have Thursdays through pretty much Saturdays, even possibly Sundays, depending on you. I don't know how you are, but I don't know if that's your church time or family time. So you really have quite a bit of time. Right now, all I'm trying to do is get you a go. Can you commit to Tuesdays? Okay, great. You could do that. Awesome. Can you commit to Saturdays in the mornings? Sometimes I could, sometimes we do. Okay, great. Well, at least the ones you can make. Well, let's get you go. But field training, guess what this is? This is anytime. This is around your schedule. So we definitely have created and designed a system or a training system where we could work around your schedule. I can't put it any better than that. I don't know where in the heck else you're gonna find an opportunity to say, hey, we're willing to work with you around your schedule, as long as you're willing to do this. You guys get that? So now let me go ahead and go into that first step, because I worked backwards. Who we are and what we do. So the first thing I'm going to tell them, have you ever heard of, let me share with you, have you ever heard of our company, Difference Financial? Chances are you probably haven't, because we don't advertise. You won't see us on commercials. We actually spend all our money and energy into our associates. So our system that we teach people, we literally have never had the need to have to advertise. And we'll get more into specifics later, but you've probably heard of some of the companies, huge name companies that we work with that have been around for over 100+ years. Like, you've probably heard of Allianz. You've probably heard of Fidelity and Guarantee. You've probably heard of possibly NLG, National Life Group. It's been around for 170 years. You've probably heard of Transamerica. I mean, I could go on. You've probably heard of AIG, Old Mutual, North American. There's NWL, National Western Life. There's a long list of companies. Now, are you familiar with the financial industry? If they say yes, great. Well, let me just share with you where we fit in. Or if you haven't, well, great. Let me just share with you how the industry works. And I'm going to divide this into 2 columns, because I want you to see where the industry focuses on. The industry focuses on the top 2%. So it's really based around working with the affluent. These are folks that have $1 million+ in assets to invest where? You know, where do they typically invest this money? And you've probably heard of companies like your Merrill Lynch, your Charles Schwab's, your UBS, etc., Morgan Stanley's. Well, where they help the affluent is they help them invest in the stock market and things that are called mutual funds, unit investment trusts, also bonds, stocks. I mean, there's other long list of things, maybe even REITs, which are real estate investment, type of strategies. So what they've been able to do successfully, when you look at the long term, like their track record, obviously there's volatilities and ups and downs historically, but you look at overall, the big picture, what they sell their clients on is being able to get about 6 to potentially 12%. In fact, they actually sell more people on getting these types of returns in the long run. Now, when you look at the other side, the other hand, which is the majority of the people in the US, which is 98%, where do you think these folks, people that are earning maybe 10,000 to 249,000, or maybe, what's the ultimate goal for most people? Oh, if I could hit 100 figures, 100,000, right? So people are focusing on this part, right? They're not teaching them accumulation of assets and creating wealth. It's more like, hey, income. But guess what happens here? Where's the simplest place? Where are they putting their money? In a bank, right? Where do they put it in? In a savings account, a checkings account, a certificate of deposit. Now, I'm going to ask you a question. What's the average rate of return that's happening in these types of accounts? Now, why I'm asking them these questions, I want to get them involved. And I also want to gauge how much they know about money and if they even keep close attention as to where their money is at. They're going to say, I don't know, about 2%, 3%. I'm like, okay, well, the numbers, you could go to bankrate.com. The average is going to be anywhere between 0. In fact, actually, a lot of banks are actually charging you to have an account. So it could possibly it could be negatives, but let's just go with this. Anywhere between 0 to 1%. Even money market accounts, right? You've probably heard of those. Now, one thing that's affecting all of us, it doesn't matter if we're on this side, if you have quite a bit of assets or you make great income, or if you're on this side. One of the things that's affecting all of us is the cost of living. The cost of living is growing, and they call this inflation, is growing at approximately 4% per year. So let's examine this further. I'm going to go ahead and use a different color for this note here. If these folks here can afford to get the advice, because obviously that advice is not free, and they're taking 12 steps forward because they could afford the advice, but they're going negative due to inflation, what are they? They're still well ahead by 8 steps. Over here, the average family that is, literally most of these folks here are just thinking about the end of the month, or they're thinking about the next paycheck, because most of the folks are paycheck to paycheck. They're not thinking about inflation. They're feeling it, but they're actually going in the negative direction. So it's kind of like that old saying, as the rich get richer on this side, the poor get poorer. And so this side right here, we call this Wall Street, the folks that could afford to do that. And then you have over here Main Street, which is really the majority of the makeup of the US. But one thing that I do want to highlight, though, I want to highlight this because it's very important for you to understand. We have the training, we have the infrastructure, the technology, the resources, the best companies, the experience, the know-how, the expertise to be able to help a ton of these folks. In fact, we have a lot of affluent clients. But one thing I want you to gauge, if you put on a business hat, that's pretty powerful about difference, is that we actually help 100% of the people. But our focus, guess where it's at? Our focus is helping everyday people over here. Does that make sense? So every day, everyone you look at, everyone's a prospect. It doesn't matter if they're business owners, if they already feel like they're doing well financially, if they already have an advisor, guess what? We could always complement or help them in different areas. Or for people there's more people, by the way, that are just getting started and they have no idea. And how we do it, what are we doing as a company? Is our mission, our sole mission is to help people become financially free by taking people from here to here and empowering them through education. We believe that if you educate people, it empowers them to make better financial decisions when it comes to their money. In fact, this is how I feel personally. I feel that people are not dumb. I feel that if you give people options and just show them, hey, in this option, this is what you're going to be able to get. You're going to be able to not have any risk, but still get market-like returns. You can have tax advantages versus over here, hey, you're taking all the risk and you can lose it all. It's going to cost you X amount. I mean, where do you think you would choose? I mean, just giving people options can make a huge difference. And so we believe education is the bridge that would bridge in that gap. So as you know, as I'm showing you this, I'm telling you right now, I'm going to go ahead and shrink this down a little bit. This alone, I mean, what we do, I'm so proud of because it's a powerful story. I mean, it is amazing what we do as a company. And obviously, I know you see the value in this, but what I want to talk to you about is I want to talk to you about the business opportunity. So the key question I got to ask you up front is, are you open for an opportunity? Do you want to grow in your income? Do you want to be able to have more control of your quality of life, your time? This is why I got involved. You see that? How that goes into that? So even though you're ready to share your 2-minute story, I'm going to remind them again. But let me talk to you about, you know, the training. Let me talk to you about the licensing. Let me talk to you about, you know, the compensation. Let me talk to you about what it takes to get started. Let me know what's your time commitment? Like, let's give this a go. Did you guys get some value? Any questions? Let me open for some questions. I'm going to save these notes. I'm going to give them to you, but I hope that you guys are writing your notes. The good thing about this is I'm going to save this right now. I just hit save. Let me call this the one-on-one presentation notes for, this was 0630, right? So what's pretty cool about this, I'm gonna go ahead and put it on my desktop. Actually, I could probably just drop it in right now into this as a link. I'm gonna go into Difference University. You guys are seeing all my craziness on my Difference University. Where is it at? Difference University, Difference University. And let me just create a folder. Let's bear with me. Oops. Training notes 2020. Let's go ahead and put it in here. I'm gonna send you the link right there in the chat box, okay, guys? Because I want you guys to have it right now. Did it go in? Whoops. There it is. Bam. Let's go in there. Save. I'm gonna stop sharing. I'm gonna go ahead and click in. Is that okay if I share it with you guys? Are you guys want it or not want it? Okay. Let me close this. Let's go ahead and I'm gonna drop that link because I need you guys to take full advantage of this. Let's leave it open for discussion. Maybe Juliano, you could help coordinate while I'm sending this, like with some of your comments on this so that we could close out, but I wanna go ahead and send these notes.
So anyways, while he's putting the notes and sending the link, you know, I just want to say this was a great training. I think, you know, from the newest person to the oldest person in this industry, you know, I hope you caught all of the psychology, the excitement, and the simplicity of it. You know, now obviously it's going to require a lot of time, a lot of practice, but each person has their own unique 2-minute story, and I think sometimes this type of training is good because it reminds you of what is it that you exactly have. You know, so when we present, especially like, you know, the way that was presented, I think he was selling all of us and reconfirming everything of why we're here. So I think, thank you for that, Dago, you know. So anyways, you know, he already put the link right there. So open it up. And anybody has any questions? Yeah, it's downloaded. Anybody has any questions, any comments or anything like that, or good? Because I'm excited, you know, I think we're having a lot of activity and we're hearing it directly from our CEO. So we got to pay attention and take action and make things happen. So anybody?
It's all good. I think it was like hopefully I didn't fry your guys' resistors. All right, guys. Well, appreciate you guys. I want to see who's going to be, right now we're doing who's going to be the first 10 field training appointments, but now it's like who's going to do the first 10 one-on-one napkin presentations on their own. That's the next thing. And you should be shooting to hurry up and get in front of people and mess it all up. The beautiful thing about it, if you mess it all up, you can say, oh, you know what? I'm not the expert. I think I totally did a disservice by sharing with you, but I was excited to share with you. Why don't I at least do this for me? Why don't I set up a time so that you could visit with one of one of the leaders of the company, or one of the executives of the company? His name is Julian. Or hey, why don't you take a time? What if I could set up a time for you to meet with the CEO? Would you at least, commit to that? So that's how you could fall forward. You see that? You'll fall forward, and you could still you could still catch it. So you can't mess this up. Anyways, guys, you guys have a good night, and we'll see you guys in the next one. Stay tuned.